week's chapter of One Piece, the Dressrosa arc, is ending for the 10th time in a row. And not only that, but there is going to be a big surprise from this chapter. It looks like Luffy's going to have one big final battle in Dressrosa Kingdom, and it's going to be up against Admiral Fujitora, the Master of Gravity. Definitely the coolest thing about this week's chapter.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, but first, let's get to the other most interesting thing, the Tontada tribe.
Oh, yes, the Tontada tribe. I like the one that looks like a little Zangief. It looks really awesome. I wish he was suplexing the ships. But no, they're actually bringing back Leo's special powers, which is his Devil Fruit ability to stitch anything together. And just like a lot of the other Devil Fruit abilities, it's got like a little bit of magic behind it in that it can actually stitch steel together. And he actually stitches all of the Navy ships together, which is actually really helpful. It's definitely going to mess up their plans so that they can't capture all of the other pirates.
Do you know who that Tontado reminds me of? Do you remember the Seven Swordsmen of the Mist from Naruto?
Yeah, he's like a less violent version.
He's like a less violent, cool, good guy version of that one swordsman of the Seven Mists that looked like an 80s rocker that had the
he looked like a member of Twisted Sister.
Yes.
That's what I always said.
He's kind of like that. And then we also get some Sengoku stuff, which is kind of interesting because we actually like get the backstory of Law, and not like we haven't heard it before, but we kind of see how Khorasan was like involved in the Navy.
Mm-hmm. And it's really interesting because Sengoku always sort of considered Rosinante as a son. You know, he met him when he was younger. I'm guessing this is like right after the event where Doflamingo killed his father, and then Rosinante just broke down, and of course that's when he met Sengoku for the first time, decided to become a Marine, and Sengoku even mentioned that there was never a single time throughout his entire career where he lied to me, except for one time, and that was actually when he decided to save Trafalgar Law, and he figured he probably had some good reasons behind that, and it is pretty cool that Sengoku does sort of decide to let Trafalgar Law go, but not after Trafalgar Law mentions, so really, what's the deal with D? And Sengoku's like, I'm not really sure. I don't even think the author knows quite yet, so we're not really going to get into that quite yet. Just more building up the whole Will of D storyline.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, but it's also interesting because Sengoku just lets Law go. Like, usually the Marines fight the pirates, and they're kind of like, they come to a stalemate, they're like, you know what? We're cool now. Yeah. But, like, they didn't even fight. They didn't even there was no tension. It almost felt like two people just talking.
That's exactly what it was, though.
Yeah. And so
you know, it's because of their respect and love for Rosinante that they decided to basically just part ways right there.
Yeah, and then Law runs over to the Eastport, and then Fujitora gets involved, and he's not messing around.
No.
It's kind of like Fujitora is trying to be the Marine he should have been all throughout this arc right now, and he just lifts up all the rubble.
He's reenacting the scene from Days of Future Past where Magneto was lifting up the giant stadium.
Yes.
It's basically exactly what he's doing. All of the rubble is going up into the air. It looks really awesome and destructive. And then, of course, this leads to what I think is definitely the coolest scene of this week's chapter, where Luffy just starts running right at him, and he immediately hits him at point-blank range with a big hockey-eyed elephant gun. And it doesn't even seem like it hurts him that much. The final panel is Fujitora just standing there getting ready to battle. But what's most badass about this is not just the fact that they're about to fight, but the fact that Luffy is not going to stand for this anymore. They're not going to run away. They're not going to be like, oh, we're just going to fight this guy another time. No. Even after fighting Doflamingo and saving Dressrosa Kingdom, it looks like Luffy is indeed going to battle against Fujitora, and hell freaking yes, this is going to be awesome. Personally, I would have rather seen Zoro fight against him because of the whole swordsman aspect of it, but getting to see Luffy actually combat his gravity abilities I think is going to be a lot of fun, considering that his body can stretch so much. How much can it stress against the force of his gravity?
And it's also interesting because we thought this arc was over. We thought they were going to get on a ship, run away, you know, slice some cannonballs on the way out and get out of there. But now it's like we're getting a whole nother fight. And I liked the Doflamingo fight, but it wasn't like just straight fisticuffs, you know? And I feel like that's what this fight's going to be. It's just going to be Luffy and Fujitora just going at it. And it's probably not going to be as long because there isn't like this backstory that needs to be built in like there was with the Doflamingo
And there's still a sense of urgency, you know, even though a lot of the ships have been tied up by Leo, there's still a lot of Marines all over the place. This is still technically like a little bit of a war zone that's going on like down at the docks of Dressrosa Kingdom. So it's not exactly going to be pretty, and they're not just going to get out there with a few scratches, you know. I really do hope, though, that this battle, you know, I know that you said you want to see a lot of fisticuffs and everything, but just the fact that both Fujitora and Luffy have very distinct Devil Fruit abilities just leads me to believe we're going to see some stuff from them that we've never seen before. Maybe that's a little presumptuous because we already just saw Luffy go through, you know, his brand new Gear 4th abilities, but Fujitora is definitely going to be a character who's going to surprise us because throughout this entire arc, he's basically just been a big tease. You know, he's fought against a lot of the key characters in the series. He had a short scuffle with Zoro. He had his badass fight fight with Sabo, which was ultimately interrupted and didn't really, you know, finish. And now this is like the big opportunity to really show us why this guy is such a badass. And, you know, he's kind of similar to some of the more modern Marines that we're seeing now. You know, he is like Sengoku in a sense that, you know, he's a hardened Marine, but he's still okay with letting certain characters go. And even if he loses this battle, I can imagine him saying, like, let him go. Just let him get out of here. We lost the fight. We're not going to be able to beat them. And just the fact that Luffy's going to be the one who could possibly beat Fujitora back is what's going to, like, convince the Marines we should not mess with these guys at all.
Yeah, well, he's also, I think what he's going to do is, I think Luffy is going to end up beating him, or just by beating him, I don't mean like almost killing him.
Yeah.
I don't mean like to the point where Fujitora is like got broken arms and shit. I just mean like what's going to happen is Fujitora is just going to realize, you know, probably can't stop all of them, or he's going to like almost defeat Luffy, and then everyone's going to grab Luffy and run away. He's like, well, I can't kick all their asses too now, you know, like I'm almost dead now. So it's going to be an interesting fight, and honestly, whoa, I was like, I think I've said it in the reviews. I was dying for this arc to be over and get to the next thing. But now I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
I'll watch this.
Yeah.
I'm down. Okay. So it's very exciting. For me, this is definitely a 5 out of 5.
I don't know if it's a 5 out of 5 for me. I think it's a 4 out of 5 for me. Definitely from the developments at the end of the chapter. Mostly just because the first part of the chapter is just more the same. Just all the other, you know, side characters of Dressrosa arc just trying to help out the Straw Hat Pirates. It really didn't get interesting until we got to that Sengoku conversation. And then, of course, the final bit with Luffy just decking Fujitora, which looked awesome. It's amazing that he still has the strength just to do that. But I'm really amped to see what they're going to do with this. You know, knowing One Piece, they could go in any sort of direction after this point. We could get a big fight with Luffy. For all we know, they could skip right ahead to Kaido next week. We're just going to have to wait and see. But, you know, like you, I was ready for Dressrosa to be done. Now I'm kind of ready for it to sort of restart again, just because this battle right here is big. You know, they've been building up Fujitora since his introduction, and this is going to be a great way to send him off. I don't think it's going to be the end of Fujitora. We're just going to have to wait and see. But it was exciting, and so was this week's chapter.
Yes, it's a good one. Great chapter of One Piece. So yeah, you guys let us know. Are you excited about seeing this battle? Because I am, and I'm sure Corey is. And wow, really cool stuff. Make sure to give us a thumbs up if you like the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And check out our podcast called The Powerful Nerdcast. It's a weekly podcast. It's on iTunes. It's on our YouTube page. And it's on RogueIntel.com, which is a podcast network and a bunch of other cool stuff on that website. So check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, stay dandy, bitches.
Baby. It's baby. He doesn't mean that, guys. He's laughing right now, but he don't mean it.